We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
The Pokemon franchise has a pretty strange reputation in its lifetime. Everybody wants a challenging Pokemon game. They want the new Pokemon games to be just as challenging as Red and Blue were when they were kids. They don't want Pokemon games to be easier. They don't want games to be more exciting. They want games to be darker, more serious storylines, more intense, more things about them that we don't ordinarily think of. Problem is, there's already been a game like that in Pokemon's history, and that's Pokémon Colosseum. A little-known Pokemon game from Gen 3 that was released on the GameCube. Pokémon Colosseum is arguably one of the most intriguing titles that has ever been released in the Pokemon franchise. It has an impeccable storyline, dark, gripping and challenging gameplay, and it more or less forces you to think on your feet as a Pokemon trainer. It gives you great challenges, great rewards. It gives you a great deal of potential as a Pokemon trainer, to test yourself as a Pokemon trainer. It makes you think. It makes you really have to go down there and ask yourself, is this really what I wanted in a Pokemon game? And for the most part, most people who played Pokemon Colosseum would agree and say that it is one of the best games in the franchise, and I would have to agree with those terms. And that's why we're playing it here on my channel as part of the year 2025. So what is up, YouTube? I am your friendly neighborhood Nman64, and I'm bringing you another playthrough of another game. We are going through one of the most merciless Pokemon games of all time, and not fan edits, of course. This is Pokemon Colosseum. And of course, naturally, my GameCube controller is either not plugged in or not working, so beautiful. Wonderful way to get started. There you go. That would have been funny right after that. The memory card doesn't read, but that's a good-ass memory card I have. This is basically the sister series to the Pokemon Stadium games that were on the N64. However, in those games, for the most part, it was more or less just battling in your modes with, you know, the Pokemon that you've raised, or just the rental Pokemon, for argument's sake, of course. Just go single battle, normal difficulty. Sure, why not? Figure we do like one little retro episode, or like way to get things started here, to show off just how much stuff is in this game. But yes, as you would imagine right here, it begins more or less... Oh, we only picked 3, okay. Let's see. Definitely Marshtomp. Definitely... Kadabra, and probably Mawile. Yeah, we'll go with that. More or less, this game operates on mostly the same terms. However, there is one big difference between this and the Stadium series, which would later have a sister in the Wii version of Pokemon Battle Revolution, which we already did an LP for. That is that this game has a story mode, and not just any story mode. It has a dark, gripping story mode that more or less makes you think a lot when it comes to what you want to do for as a Pokemon trainer. It's got some gripping storylines. It's got some difficult gameplay. It forces you to think on your feet. This is one of those most unique and impeccable Pokemon games that has ever been made. And the fact that it's taken Nintendo this long to recognize that is actually kind of sad. Because, like, you expect, like, Nintendo to be like, oh, well, people love this game, so naturally we should want to pump it out as often as possible, like with Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time. But I will say that this game was not really successful upon initial release. And I will explain why when we get into the meat of things as to why that was. But for the time being, I am going to just be doing this little tutorial section here, battling some Pokemon, doing some shenanigans. Wow, he picked like the worst possible team to go up against my Marshtown. Beautiful. But I will go into details as to why this game was created, why it is the way it is, why it wasn't successful, and all that crap as we get deeper into this video game. Because yes, this is going to be one of the biggest games, probably one of the bigger LPs on my channel, especially since this game has a sequel, which is even more kick-ass. Alright, I guess we'll do one more battle. Let's exit battle. We'll try to get a different team. Actually, no, we'll do double battle here. Another normal double battle. We should be able to pick 4 Pokemon then. Should be fun. And all those Pokemon are fucking interesting. Alright, so Ryder Wendo versus Wes. Love that name. Wes. Alright, let's see. Teddy Ursa, he has all the Johtos. 2 grass types, so I guess Medicham. Ariados, what do you know? Nothing cool. Nose Pass. Clamperl. Choke. Oh, cancel. Choke, not bad. Yeah, that Oddish is probably going to be a problem for us. What about Clamperl? What do you know? Whirlpool. Yikes. We'll go Medicham, Nose Pass, Ariados, and do I want Delcatty or do I want a Choke? I think we'll go Delcatty for this. The big reason being is that this game has a lot of unique mechanics about it. One of the biggest is that every single battle in the story mode is a double battle. So instead of you just having to build a Pokemon team and just say, hey, we'll just wing it, now you have 2 Pokemon out at once that you have to think of. You have to think on your feet consistently with this game. And I really do appreciate that. You're not just stuck thinking, oh, well, maybe I could do something interesting with this, but, no, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. I will go Meditate for you, and I will go Thunder Wave for Totodile. I don't think Nose Pass is gonna get the big hit in, but I'm fine with that. But no, this is double battle, so instead of building your Pokemon team as just the way you normally do it, you have to build it with respect to double battles. You have to decide what Pokemon you're using. Does it work with the Pokemon stats or its abilities? Can it help someone in battle? All of your moves are probably going to be different. This is a game that makes you have to think. And that's something I really enjoy about this game. Let's go with Thunder Wave on Teddy Ursa 2. So yes, you have to think of Pokemon strategies and situations and all of this, and that's why, to me, this game is an unmitigated masterpiece. Any game where you have to think more or less about everything you're doing is an impressive game in my books, and this game is extremely rewarding if you can figure out if you can handle the mechanics. Alright, so I got one Meditate off, so we'll go Rock Tomb on Totodile, and we will go Rock Slide on them both. Alright, so my attack boost should make this do decent amounts of damage, not bad. Half. We go halvesies. Now, since it is double battles, moves that would hit both opponents are, in this situation, capable of hitting both opponents. And as you can see, that Rock Slide's power was weakened because it was split between two Pokemon. Fortunately for us, though, we seem to be in good enough shape where any of those things don't particularly matter to us right now. Alright, so Rock Slide can hit them both. I think we can get a double KO. Ooh, it did not KO Teddy Ursa. It didn't KO Totodile either. But I would take a couple of flinches if you want. Alright, Teddy Ursa is immobilized and a flinch. Beautiful. Alright, so let's go with another rock. You know what? We'll go Confusion. Guarantee the hit here. And we'll go Shockwave on Totodile. So yes, this is a game that, as I've said, is a game that you have to think about constantly. You have to always be on your feet. You always have to think, what Pokemon do I use in what situations? You have to build a team that will actually work in tandem with others. To me, it's just one of those very impressively designed games, and I'm very thankful that it's finally getting the respect it deserves on the Switch 2. Because who knows how long it would have taken for it to get respected any other way. I don't think Nosepass is long for this world, so we'll go Thunder Wave on Chikorita. We'll throw everything at Chikorita right now. Not that I'm worried about a Chikorita, but still. But yes, there's a lot to get to in the backstory of this game that I have to explain as we're playing it. So, because yeah, this is one of the most intriguingly conceptualized games out there. That in reality, there was no real reason for this game to exist outside of Nintendo's own, or Nintendo, Game Freak, and the Pokémon Company's own lack of foresight, I guess, would be the situation. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but definitely, no matter what, it's one of those very strange choices. Wow, that Rock Tomb is doing nothing. Alright. I think we should just let Medicham handle the rest of this. Nosepass take 5. And we'll go with Delcatty. The big reason why you have to switch out Pokemon, you have to think so much with this game. And that's not an insult. That's a great idea. A lot of times Pokemon games have become those, oh, well, all I have to do is just do this and that, nothing else matters, blah, blah, blah. But now, we don't have to really worry about that. We can just do whatever we want as we please. Let's go assist here. Should be any move we have on the roster. So I'm curious to see as to what move it picks. And Rock Slide. Okay. That'll take out Phanpy for sure. Chikorita's probably got a little bit left in the tank. But yes, you have to think, you have to plan. This is why this game is one of those that people always go back to when it comes to talking about Pokemon games being difficult. Because yes, this is an extremely difficult Pokemon game. And if you are not careful, you will probably run into a couple of brick walls in this game. Let's see how much that helping hand adds to the damage. Not that much, but then again, Chikorita's kind of bulky. Alright, so Confusion, and why not Helping Hand? Just to finish it off. So yes, moves you wouldn't ordinarily teach your Pokemon, you might have to consider having a Pokemon that knows them. Helping Hand, for example, which boosts the power of a fellow Pokemon's move in battle, as long as it's on your team, of course. Then there's also double hit moves that hit all opponents, like Earthquake. You have to really think when you're playing this game, and that's why I love it as much as I do. And I'm looking forward to being able to play it for you guys as we progress. We got the battling out of the way, we showed off some of the animations and stuff like that. We KO'd multiple guys without losing a single Pokemon, but of course, it's not going to be that easy going forward. Because the game is going to make us have to do new things going forward, such as story mode, which of course, we are going to begin next episode. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm your friendly neighborhood Endman64, and I will see you guys next time. Until we meet again, my lovelies, sayonara.